Hello viewers, my name is Teacher Rose and today I'll be giving you a tutorial on how to facilitate a CBC lesson. Welcome to my channel and kindly subscribe. Okay, when it comes to facilitating a CBC lesson, you will realize that there is a difference between the two. That is 844 and a CBC lesson. In a CBC lesson, the teacher will take a substrand of any learning area and then prepare before going to class. And after you've prepared and gone to class, it is up to you to make sure that you have facilitated the following element simultaneously. One, you facilitate knowledge. Two, facilitate skills. Three, you facilitate values. Four, you facilitate or inculcate, emphasize on positive attitude, and ensure these learners are sharpening their core competencies of CBC as well as identifying and nurturing their talent. You cannot afford to leave any of these when facilitating a CBC lesson. Remember, in the 844 lesson, it was just taking the note to class, and then maybe you give the lecture method, and then the lesson is over, you just go. But in CBC, once you don't deal with this element that we have enumerated, then that lesson will not be attained, or the objectives will not be attained at all. It is just like this. When you go to class to facilitate, ensure in that CBC lesson you are facilitated the PCI, you have facilitated knowledge, you have facilitated the skills and the talent. You can see talent down here. You have facilitated values and attitudes. And remember, the learners are here, they are getting or they are receiving all these through engaging their core competencies of CBC. Now, if we narrow down to a learning area like CRE and the substrand being the core of Moses, you realize that in this core, you are now in class or you are preparing maybe, in this core, there are some PCIs that are provided by the author and they are already in the textbook of the learner. That one does not hinder you from bringing in some other related PCI. For example, in the core of Moses, there is a mention of fire, and once fire is mentioned, we start thinking of the danger associated with it. Do remember, fire is a good servant and a very dangerous master. So when it comes to teaching the PCIs connected with the fire, because it is being mentioned in this substrate, there is nothing wrong with dragging a related PCI to add what is in the textbook so that your learners can get a broader knowledge of these PCIs. For example, you may want your learners to know the danger associated with burning charcoal, especially or jiko, especially in a poorly ventilated house, and people are there, maybe they are asleep. So it is up to you to bring in as many related PCIs as possible. But remember, everything to the learner is an emerging issue due to their age and little experience in life. They have not known a lot. So everything to them is packing out as a PCI. They conflict with it and so on. It is up to you to inform your learners. Give many PCIs in every substrate you carry to class so that your learners will get the information. Also, another thing associated with this PCI is when you are taking them to class, be sensitive, be very sensitive because some of your learners in the class may be already victims of the same substrate that you are going to teach. Let's say, for example, you are going to teach about food and nutrition, and then the PCI is the lifestyle diseases associated with child substrate. And the lifestyle disease specifically that you are targeting is obesity. And in the class, there could be one or two learners having the same problem. It is up to you as a teacher to do a pre-class counseling to this affected learner so that you will not damage or demoralize the learner or ruin the self-efficacy of the same learner. So when you go to class, then you will be able to deliver comfortably your PCI, and after you are through with the PCIs related to the knowledge that you are about to facilitate, it is only then you can embark into the knowledge. Then the big question is, where is the knowledge? The knowledge is in the substrate, and if you are going to facilitate the core of Moses, then all is in this Bible. This is the recommended Bible for teaching theory. Then from there, you go inside and have your learners know how to describe. They read the story and they are able to describe the core of Moses. They have known every bit that took place in this core. So when you've done that, you have attained two things, the PCI and the knowledge. You have attained the PCI and the knowledge. So the learners have the knowledge here. Then you move to this one, the skills. You move to the skill here, which is related to the knowledge that has already been learned. So the skill that has been learned here is Moses looking after domestic animals, the sheep. So ensure that these learners also will have that knowledge, that skill of looking after domestic animals and wild birds. You can have the learners, for example, feed the wild birds and give them water. You can have your learners real having to have their maybe keep rabbits at home, take care of their dogs at home and cats, and also other domestic animals. And when you come down here, you also have to handle this one's talent, the talent related to the knowledge learned. Now, the talent related to this one here, you can tell your learners to draw Moses at the burning bush and they color. That is a talent being nurtured. You can tell them to compose a song of the core of Moses. You are nurturing the singing talent, the composing of a song talent. You can tell them to sing a song related to the core of Moses. You are nurturing so many talents there. Do remember singing, dancing, dramatizing, soloing. You can also tell the learners to play, to have a play and drama concerning the core of Moses. By doing all those activities, You are nurturing their possible talents. You can, from there, you come to the values. Ask yourself what CBC values are demonstrated by Moses here during the call. Value number one is responsibility. Moses is looking after domestic animals. And when you come here, your learner should embrace that value of responsibility inside the class, in the school compound, at home, in the church, and in the whole community. Another value learned here is the value of respect. We can see Moses is removing his shadows. This is the value of respect. He is respecting the shrine. So the learners can also embrace that value of respect, and they learn to respect everyone, everything that God created in whatever place they will find themselves. You realize also you need to inculcate attitude. The attitude should be positive, meaning whatever task the learner will do here will do it willingly so that it can be done to the best of their level. So we cannot afford to give learners no any of this, maybe knowledge alone, leaving the rest. Do remember, a learner who learns knowledge alone without executing or doing that knowledge in terms of skills and talent is like a farmer who plows season every season, but he does not plant. The same can be compared to when it comes to making a meal for our family. We cannot afford to make a meal for our family, let's say carbohydrate alone, and say, okay, here is ugali, you can eat and go to bed. No. When preparing a meal for our family, we have to make sure there is carbohydrates, there are vegetables to take care of, vitamins. Then we have to make sure there are proteins, and we are also provided for other things like onions and fat to make the food delicious and to increase the nutrient. Plus, do remember, the family will also eat fruit maybe 30 minutes earlier before they eat the meal. In case you did not do this, maybe wherever feeding your family with only one meal, let's say carbohydrates, there will be so many disasters in waiting. I'm sorry, there will be so many disasters in waiting. Maybe a disaster like children getting kwashiorkor or quarrels in the family, fight in the family because the meal is not balanced. The same to the learner. We cannot afford to produce a learner who will learn in the world of work after graduating, who only has maybe knowledge and does not have skills. Or the learner is having knowledge, is having skills and all the talent, but the learner is lacking values and attitude. that learner cannot perform a task or that graduate cannot perform a task successfully. These are for example of workers who will go out in the world of market. Let's say they have graduated as farmers, and because they are lacking values and attitudes, they will start cultivating for us skuma wiki. They can spray them with the pesticide, and the next minute they harvest them and bring in the market. You know, I know what will happen when we hit the skuma week. Weeds have already been sprayed, and the duration or the days given to clear that pesticide are not over. Uh, think of cancer and so many other related diseases. So it is hard to ask as teachers, the mothers of these learners, to ensure that we give a balanced learning, just like we make or prepare a balanced meal in our family. Ensure your learners are getting PCI's knowledge, skills, attitude, values, and positive attitude in every lesson, and they get it simultaneously. It is only by so doing that the learners can perform a task and perform it successfully and ethically. Thank you for listening to me. In the next tutorial, I will be handling the core competencies of CBC. Kindly subscribe to my channel.